Hello and welcome to the Complete Lakers podcast. I'm Anthony Wilson, recording from Los Angeles, California. So the Lakers play in Sacramento tonight. Normally I would wait until after the game to record, but win or lose, I don't really have anything else to say. Uh, I don't have any more analysis, any new analysis to give of the Lakers, of their actual play, and some of the problems that they've had. I've pretty much said everything I could possibly say about it. So I might as well just record before the game this morning. Um, because well, so what? But what I will say though, I want to say something about this situation with, like I said, they're playing in Sacramento tonight, and the Kings will be without Dennis Schroder. Now, the reason that the Kings will be without Dennis Schroder is because last month, when the Lakers played the Kings, it was one of the few blowouts the Lakers have had this season, a victory. Um, the Lakers played the Kings. You may have seen some clips on social media of, you know, uh, Luka and Dennis Schroder, being into it, having some back and forth. And the funniest one was when Luka said, Luka told him, you should have signed that contract, right? Referring to Schroeder when he was with the Lakers the first time in 2021. He turned down the extension. It would have been 4 years, I think 82 million. He turned that down, and he hasn't really made that money back. And basically, the report that you read on ESPN said that after the game, Dennis Schroeder, in the the tunnel, but in the area, I guess in the parking lot or whatever, where the players get ready to get on the bus or get in the car and go home. He confronted Luka and I guess took a swing at him. Right, it was worded as he tried to strike him, and I guess it took a while for the NBA to investigate, and now they finally did hand down a 1 game suspension. And it's funny because in the report, it said that basically Luka was like kind of stunned that Schroeder, that Schroeder did that. Luka really is just like a big kid out there on the basketball court who's just constantly talking. You know, he is one of those guys who can't. It seems like he can't play without talking, trash talking other guys. You know, constantly, going back and forth with the refs, talking to the fans, you know, and you could tell he's having a good time out there. And he said something that got under Schroeder's skin. And I've always liked Dennis Schroeder. Like I said, he played 2 stints here, um, and I was a fan. I just wish the Lakers had. I wish he was on the Lakers now. I just feel like he fit in well here. It almost seems though like he doesn't really like he doesn't like the Lakers, for some reason. Uh, but yeah, I just think he's a good. Sacramento's terrible, but on a good team, I think he's really an asset. Um, but he got a little sensitive there about that, and like I said, it does suck that that's a lot of money to pass up. He's made some of it back, but he'll never make all that money back. He's a hero, I guess, in Germany. Some people say he'll make Basketball Hall of Fame based on what he's done over there for their national team. But I know Hitler is rolling over in his grave, right? Knowing that, but about this, I just think Luka is I think Luka probably be the best trash talker in the league. You'd have to say. You don't really see guys these days like a Gary Payton or a Kevin Garnett who can get under a guy's skin so bad that I remember GP, he got under Lamar Odom's skin really bad one time. Of course, there's a famous situation with KG and and Carmelo. You know, so um, I mean, Luka, and I think Luka, he's someone who just him is just he's just having fun. But for the other guys, sometimes they take it a little bit more personally and a little bit more seriously. Uh, and then the other thing I wanted to say, I talked before about the Lakers and their point differential. They have a negative point differential now, which is a negative 0.3. That is the same as the Charlotte Hornets. Right now, the Lakers are 23-13. They just lost their first so-called clutch game of the season. I think it was against Milwaukee. That game they lost right there at the end. I think that was the first time all season the Lakers have lost a close game. But the Lakers are 23-13. Charlotte is 14-25. So it just kind of puts it in perspective of just how, like I said, the Lakers, uh, they all their losses are blowouts, and then all their wins are close. Like I said, aside from that time that they beat Sacramento. So we'll see what they can do tonight against. I will say this, before I forget, Ant Edwards, I think also is a really good trash talker. It seems like, but he hasn't. I don't think he's got anybody so hot in the college they tried to fight him out to the game. That's why I give the edge to Luka. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Transitioning now to the NFL. It was a hell of a weekend in the NFL, first round of the NFL playoffs. We had the Bears beating the Packers, the Rams beat the Panthers, the Patriots beat the Chargers, the Bills beat the Jags, the 49ers beat the Eagles. I really feel like this Bears team, man, Caleb Williams, I think he just has that thing about him, where like he only completed like his the passing yards and the touchdowns and the interceptions. They looked okay this year, but he only completed like 58% of his passes, which that was bad 20 years ago. When Donovan McNabb was completing 58% of his passes, Rush Limbaugh said he was overrated because he was black. And Donovan McNabb was a really good quarterback. We saw how much better he was once he got Terrell Owens. But I just think that they, uh, I just feel like I feel like Caleb Williams has that unique ability to not play well for 3 whole quarters, and then when the game is on the line and you really need it the most, he just turns into a different quarterback. Like we've seen that from like we've seen that. I mean, he basically has the Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Eli Manning, and he would probably compare more. I mean, because Brady and Montana were just excellent all the time. Eli Manning was someone who was not a very good regular season quarterback, but of course was damn near perfect during 2 postseason runs. And Caleb Williams, like I said, not a not a perfect quarterback during the regular season, and he wasn't playing well at the to start the game as the Packers uh, got that lead on them. But then when it mattered, he was lights out, and his arm talent, I think, is some of the best that we've ever seen. He has magic in his arm, and he has ice in his veins. His ability to throw the football is really it's really something. You know, he can do it in cold weather. He's just really he's really amazing. And the Bears, they advanced. The Packers blew an 18-point lead. And yeah, man, you know, just you look and you wonder, you know, um, you really do. It looks like I saw today that they're gonna try to keep Matt LaFleur, but it's not a good look, man. Keep waiting for them to take that next step, and they still haven't done it, you know. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with them. The Rams also they beat the Panthers. Uh, I was when the Rams were up early, and then the Panthers came back and took the lead. And then right at the end, the Rams were able to win it. So the Rams they go on. Um, and yesterday we had the Bills beating the Jaguars in the early game. Then we had the Niners beating the Eagles, and I have to say I thought that the winner of that game would, have a really good chance of making the Super Bowl, especially if the you know if the Rams had lost that game to the Panthers. It would have been the 49ers would look at that feeling, oh man, we should take that. Uh, but yeah, the 49ers are they're a they're a, I feel like they're a team on a mission. You know, um, I feel like they're a team on a mission, man, and they look at this field, and they go, well, they've been close before. They made the Super Bowl twice and lost to Patrick Mahomes. There's no Patrick Mahomes in this field. They just beat the Eagles, who when they played the Eagles the last time in the playoffs, the Eagles um, beat them, and that was the game where Brock Purdy got hurt. Now they took care of the Eagles. Now they have to go to Seattle next week uh, to face the Seahawks. Seattle's a 7-point favorite, but if I'm the 49ers, I'm probably thinking, well, it's no, I love Sam Darnold, no disrespect to him, but are the 49ers afraid of Sam Darnold? It's like if that's all that stands in the way of them and, getting in the NFC Championship game, I don't know. Uh, so, yeah, that's one to look out for the Niners, man. I think they look at it like this is their year, and I feel like this could be their year. Uh, and then last night we had the Patriots beating the Chargers. The Chargers only scored 3 points. The Patriots will face the winner of the game tonight between the Steelers and the Texans. Uh, Also in the NFC this week coming up, we'll have the Rams at the Bears. The Rams are a 3.5-point favorite. Uh, but the Bears, man, so at Soldier Field with Caleb Williams, you're going to have to play a complete game for 4 quarters. And you can't let up at the end. If you do, the Bears will sneak up on you and they'll get you. You know, and the Bills Broncos. That's another one. The Buffalo's a 1.5 favorite on the road, and I kind of like that. He was good as the Broncos have been. They went 14-3. Bo Nix. He was there in the playoffs last year, but he's been, I don't know, on the trust scale. I'm not sure how highly he would rate. So the Bills have Josh Allen, and he might look at this and go, well, if all I got to beat is young, I already beat Trevor Lawrence. Now I got young Bo Nix in front of me, and then either C.J. Stroud or Drake May, all good quarterbacks, but there's no Mahomes he has to get past. There's no Lamar Jackson. He might be looking at this the same way. We might be looking at a a Bills Niners Super Bowl, uh, which is Bills Niners. Yeah, that'll be a good one. Now transitioning again, this time to college football. I want to say something about Indiana and the run that they're on. Uh, they destroyed Oregon in the semifinal game of the college football playoff, and people are now saying, um, that you have people like Rob Parker and saying that Indiana football is bad for what they're doing is bad for college football. They beat Oregon 56-22, and that's after beating uh, Alabama 38-3. They've just been so dominant, and the thing that people uh, keep pointing to is just how old their team is. So uh, Rob G of the Odd Couple podcast with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington, he was given the numbers on it. He said that the average age of Indiana starters, the average age of Indiana's roster is 23 years old. They have 19 starters in year 4 or later. They have 8 in year 5 or 6, and only 5 players in year 3 or earlier. So this is a veteran team. Because of COVID, and then you also have like things like, medical red shirts and stuff like that. You have situations where you have guys who are, you know, um, even in a 6th year of college football. Uh, and it's a very veteran team. And, the teams they're playing against, have, because they have more talented recruits, um, they have these 4 and 5-star kids who come in and, they're playing early as freshmen and as sophomores. Whereas Indiana, because they don't have as much talent as far as stars go, um, their kids have been in college longer. They're not going to the NFL. It's the first chance they get, and they transferred. They've been around the block. Now you got kids who are, 22, 23, 24, even 25 years old, I guess, in some cases. And they're still playing college football. And the argument is, well, yeah, of course, a bunch of 23-year-old 3-star kids are going to beat a bunch of 4 and 5-star kids who are 19, 20, even 21, I guess. And that's pretty much has been the case. But I don't know. I mean, in every other program in the country had the same opportunity to build the exact same type of team that Indiana did, and they didn't do it. So how can you blame Indiana for taking advantage of this unique time in college football? Um, but I mean, I guess you always could have been able to. I think the COVID year is the thing that really allowed for something like this to happen because it gave you that extra year of eligibility. So now you have guys who are like I said, sometimes maybe they've been in college for 6 years, instead of 5, right? So it's such an old team, and I mean, but to me, like I said, you still you can't knock Indiana for that because every program in the country had the same opportunity with the same type of team. And then I've heard people say even that like that Indiana seems to know the other team's plays, right? And so this is a situation where, um, like of course the Patriots got in trouble for that, but it happens sometimes. and it's not illegal. Like when the when the Seahawks beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl, 43-8. I think one of the Seahawks even came out and said, like, we knew their plays, you know. So sometimes it's just really good scouting, and then sign stealing is also it's just part of it is part of the game, but you can't. I guess you can't do it. I mean, I guess well, I don't know. The Patriots, perhaps they were just being like, it's one of those things. It's the same thing as in uh with the with the Astros, right? Everybody in baseball tries to steal signs, right? And everybody in football they try to steal, you know, pick up on the signals from the other team's sidelines so they know what they're running. And maybe the Patriots just were did a little too much in there. You know, it's like gamesmanship, and then it played over into cheating, or maybe it was just something everybody does. But the Patriots got caught, and they made an example out of the Patriots. Uh, but either way, all that stuff. It's like when people make a big deal about what the Astros were doing. It's like, come on, bro. It's just it's gamesmanship, and if they took it a step too far, okay. But let's not act like they're. I mean, the Astros they won a World Series since then, right? So um, it doesn't take away from what they did. And so with Indiana, if that's true, if they're getting other teams plays somehow, you know, I mean that's just kudos to them. you know, as like I said, it's gamesmanship until they decide it's cheating. But really, what's the what's the difference really? You know, so yeah, I don't really see any way that that Miami can beat Indiana. I do think Miami is the most physical of all those of like anybody that Indiana possibly could have faced in the championship game. But uh, like, and I don't think that Indiana has anybody like Malachi Tony, right? So he could be an X factor. And Carson Beck has been a good quarterback, but Dante Moore and Ty Simpson are going to be first round picks, probably in the first 15 picks of the draft. Carson Beck is not. So, although he's much more experienced than they are, so maybe that'll help. But I don't think anybody thinks there's no reason to believe that Miami will be able to beat Indiana. But anything can happen. This could be the game that the the prince turns back into a frog. You know, that we just have to see. That's why they play the games, as the saying goes. Um, and then I guess is that it? I did. I just wanted to say that Ariana Grande. She was at the Golden Globes last night. That blonde hair was gone. She was back with the brunette look. It was a brunette. It's not brunette. It's like is that brunette? They have brown hair. But she was back to her natural look with the ponytail. She was looking a lot better. She looked a little bit healthier. Still didn't look like peak hot piece of ass Ariana Grande yet, but it was progress back in that direction. So hopefully she, puts on a couple more pounds and she's able to get back to as she was when she was just such a little sexy little thing. Instead of looking so emaciated. And then, I don't know. I haven't seen any of it. I've seen Sinners. I know they won a couple of like bootleg kind of like consolation awards. So, I mean, normally that's like, the Golden Globes are like a precursor or like you look at what happened at the Globes and that kind of would tell you what's going to happen at the Academy Awards. So that sucks, but yeah, it's still a great movie by Ryan Coogler. But yeah, man, Before I get out of here, just a reminder to hit that subscribe button next to the Complete Podcast Network and to follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at TC Pod Network. You can also send feedback and mailbag questions to CompleteLakersPodcast at gmail.com. I am out.